Welcome to your mini coaching session this week. Is your anxiety, guilt, or darkness impacting you so much that you don't feel like you're doing your best work or living your life's purpose? Or are you so at the affect of your own emotions that the last thing you feel is any sense of freedom? If so, well, welcome to most of my life. And my name is Michael Ian Cedar. I'm a mindset and leadership coach, and from a very early age, I was super determined to figure out how to find freedom of the inner critic, of the inner voice, of the emotions and somatic experiences I was constantly having that overtook me. And I'd like to share with you what I keep learning along my life's journey. The answer to not being held back of living your life's purpose is in the surrender. The answer is in the surrender. And most people hear the word surrender and think, oh, go passive. Allow pure fate to be the driving force of my life. But here we are as human beings, being human, and we have this amazing thing called willpower. So that type of just let go and let God, or whatever phrase you've heard in the past, that's not what I'm referring to here. The surrender I'm referring to is the surrender to the internal resistance, to the internal suffering, to the internal struggle. Notice I'm not talking about the external circumstance and resisting and going, oh, well, it's happened. I'm talking about that feeling you get, that resistance you get, that feeling you get. A lot of people who are so much further along in their journey than me, like Michael Singer and others, talk about this deeply, and I keep finding these themes in my life. So what do I do to catch, and what can you do to stop and surrender to the internal resistance? Because we're going to have the internal resistance. I cannot take the internal resistance away from you because you're a human being human in a human body with a human brain and the human survival mechanisms here. Because the surrendering, again, is not to what's going on outside of ourselves. The surrender is to our own internal suffering, resistance, pushing back from, oh, this is the way life's supposed to be. So let me teach you how I navigate that surrender. One, when I'm feeling that turbulence and tension or stress or anxiety or guilt or darkness or helplessness, I ask myself, number one, what am I trying to control that I don't control? What am I trying to control right now that I don't control? Now, this doesn't mean whatever the answer is, I need to be okay with it. But I just need to go, like, what's that? What am I trying to control that's not in my control that has me feeling this way? Two, well, this is the important one. So what result do I want that is in my control? Because one of the biggest problems that I find in one-on-one coaching is most people don't know what they're even trying to solve and what result they want. So what result do you want that is in your control? And then three, well, what actions am I willing to take that are in my control? Notice, I'm not shutting down my emotions. I'm not denying myself like, oh, be a big boy, grow up, be a big girl, grow up. I'm not saying that. The simple act of acknowledging my thoughts, my emotions, your emotions, without judgment. Stop the damn struggling. Just go, oh, I'm really angry. Okay, what am I trying to control that I don't control? So this is what life looks like after you start practicing this. Here's what at least for me, and I have a hypothesis it'll be the same to you. Once I came to the realization that the only real suffering and loss of freedom comes from resisting the way I feel, I found, stop, okay. When I stopped resisting it, I was able to find solutions easier. I had less rumination, which I'm sure many of you would be like, yeah, give me that little nugget. I had a reduction in my anxiety in the areas where I felt helpless. And I start having more moments in my life of inner freedom. And what I keep finding is until I can give myself inner freedom from the somatic experiences and thoughts going up here, I'll never have true freedom. We'll never have that external freedom. So practice with me now in the comment section. You don't have to give your situation, so just think this one out. What's a situation that you're feeling resistance and struggle inside of yourself? Now put in the chat section if you're comfortable, and you don't have to be specific for us, like it's your privacy. Answer, what's the result you want that's in your control? Notice I'm saying what's the result you want that's in your control, or at least you believe is in your control. And then 3, what actions are you willing to take that are in your control to move you forward in that result? So pause me if you haven't answered those 3 questions. If you have to, rewind the tape and do it again. Freedom through surrender. It takes practice. You got to be kind to yourself. You're going to fail. You're going to fall. You're going to, it's okay. Freedom through surrender. Freedom through surrender, it's about dropping your commitment to be right and allowing yourself to live in the present and go, what do I got? Where do I want to go? And how am I going to get there? That's in my control. And by the way, I'm holding a free self-led challenge this week and next week called Reduce Your Anxiety 2-Week Challenge. I do these things a lot because I want to be able to bring you more tools faster. And in the comment section, I'll put a link, and I hope you will join me and other members of the Life on Your Terms program and the Gratitude Slam, because I have answers, and I have answers. They might not be your answers, but I have answers that work for me, and maybe they'll work for you. So keep in mind, join the challenge if you want, but also remember that each act of surrender strengthens your resilience and moves you towards more inner peace and fulfillment and freedom, which you deserve. Ichigo Ichi, my friends. Ichigo Ichi.